again, I don't know. I need to take his name that I don't know also. So there are a couple of slides which I have taken from the Abdul Samad. Because he has made some of the slides here, so I have incorporated some of his slides. And what I try to do is that we will understand the cities and we understand the climate change, and then we will try to understand how these are affecting, either cities are affecting the climate, or climate change is affecting the cities on that one. So we will understand this one. So we will quickly go through the things which we have discussed. Any city around the world is having dichotomy between economic efficiency and then the social equity that we have already discussed. And what Professor Jerry has mentioned, once upon a time in 80s, that both the parties in US trying to address the environmental issues. That's the period where a lot of agreement, a lot of the intervention, a lot of policies came up in order to address the issues of the environment. That means both the parties were addressing the same things. But later on again, these things came. So almost what happens, some parties focus on the economics, political party, they want to get the economic efficiency, they want to the economic development, and some parties try to go for the social justice. So these are the dichotomy always cities place. Then coming to the physical environment in order to achieve the economic efficiency and the social justice. And this is again is taken care by the institutional governance, that the city governance take care of these three things: economic development, and then the physical environment, and then the social justice. So if you look into the governance, if governance is very transparent, very involving all stakeholders, then chances are very high to get the balance among these three. If that is lacking, then we will only see either the social justice, economic efficiency, or some type of intervention in the sustainable development. And if you look into little bit of detail about this all sector, so what governance does is again try to balance between the public sector and the private sector. And if you are not aware of, we should know that there are limits how public sector will participate, and there is a limit how much private sector to the resident of that city. Again, the social, what are the social resources, what are the human resources in order to get the city benefited from that resource. Then physical, there are continuous sector which addresses that, like the connectivity and discontinuous sectors, like the different sector which should be placed in the city. And then the economics, like what are the capital, what is the workforce, what are the entrepreneurship. So most of the city is trying to address this one. If the city has a more capital, more workforce, more entrepreneurship environment is there, that cities are more progressive in terms of producing more per capita GDP and all. So just I will quickly go through the sigmoidal curve. What does it curve means? It says that the rural population is declining and urban population is going up. And this is almost 300,000, 3 lakh persons migrating from rural areas to the urban. Just the scenario we can imagine how much person is migrating from the rural area to urban area. And if that urban area is not able to accommodate that kind of population in our planet, then that will lead to the different crises. So this is the only indicative, so that we can keep in our mind that around 300,000, 3 lakhs people migrate from the rural areas to urban. Look here that the vehicle ownership. The more you develop, you are having the more vehicle ownership. That means again we will link this to the climate change. Just we are trying to understand. The more developed country trying to use the more number of vehicle ownership is there. So this is another part. This is the how infrastructure growth needs to be managed. Like what are the need, we need to build and we need to tame the infrastructure. Here taming the infrastructure is more important than the need of the infrastructure and build the infrastructure. We may have the need of the infrastructure, we can build it. But very few cities around the world is able to manage that infrastructure. Manage the infrastructure means, suppose we have the metro, so that should be managed in such a way that it should not create discomfort. It should not create a problem for the citizen. We don't have the more frequency, we don't have access, we don't have the efficiency in order to commute through the metro. So the cities which are good in taming the infrastructure is the cities which we will talk about. That is the city which directs even the government to what needs to be done. Tokyo, Paris, London, New York is able to taming the infrastructure because they have the kind of ecosystem. They tame the infrastructure. The Singapore, Madrid, Bogota is also trying to go to the taming that side of the infrastructure. But if you look into the need, most of the cities they are in need for the infrastructure in order to facilitate the function carried out within that city. So most of the cities, if you look, their 5% annual growth is there. The population growth is 5%. If we assume 5% of the annual growth, then within 14 years that population double. That means 14 years the population is going to double. That means the kind of infrastructure we need, that should be doubled within 14 years. And many cities in the global south, I would say, it takes 14 years to make the policies to have the infrastructure to take care of the 14 years before population. By the time we have the infrastructure, the population has gone up. Some cities are smart cities. They try to decentralize the population in order to reduce the population growth. That cities are good to manage the infrastructure. They are able to manage the infrastructure well because they are able to control the population. And Madrid is one of the examples. There are other examples as well. Then we can see that the predictable cities, the more the cities comes with a lot of challenges also. If cities is very good in producing the GDP, then that city is also having the very crime rate is also very high. Because that cities gives the environment, that ecosystem attracts all types of people within that cities, and cities are not well prepared to take care of everything, then the crime rate will also go up. So, and that city has a more income also, more patents also is being, if you look into the number of patents is being guaranteed, so number of the big cities will have the major chunk into that one because they give the environment to innovation, the entrepreneurship, that kind of environment is being there in order to attract the more skilled person. So this is the similar to the curve that Professor Jerry was mentioning. This is the Wundt curve. What it says, that any facilities which we will provide in any city around the world, after a certain point of time it is going to decline. Like suppose if you are going to give the high speed train, it will be very good initially, medium, and then in the long term it is going to decline it because then they will have the different challenges the city will have to face. So what we need to do? We need to, if we intervene with the one infrastructure, then we should be ready by 14 to 15 years, then another intervention in order to take care of the declining phase of that. That means, suppose we have built up main road, and then we should be ready that if we were building more road, more vehicle would come, and then within a 14, 15, 20 years, we should have another intervention to take care of the extra vehicle that the people will have within that city. So the cities, mostly the mega cities like the London, Paris, Tokyo, what they are trying to do, they are trying to intervene within that time space, so that they will have another innovation and they will carry forward their activity ahead. So these are the things that the inception, growth, matured, and then it will lead to the decline. And we need to have before it decline, we should start another intervention within that city. If cities is able to do it around the world, then we will not have any issues in the cities. If cities fail to have another intervention, then one system is not going to work. There must be another system after certain time that will take care of the problem which has been not taken care by the system which we have introduced a couple of years before. So here is the doubt and uncertainty is there. Most of the doubt and uncertainty. We need to, that the city must have the sense in order to understand which kind of intervention is there, so that they can build up the infrastructure, they can provide the ecosystem, and that they can able to again switch on to the another intervention. So like the urban planning is like that. You provide the planning, it will go, and then the metropolitan planning take place. Then again, after a certain point of time, we need to have another intervention. If we will carry forward, then there will not be an issue. But that also requires a lot of things in order to take care of that. We will go. That's the urban agenda, Paris agreement. All this came to take care of the cities, because cities were not the earlier part of the sustainable, the Millennium Development Goal and all. Later on, that city became a very central part of all the discussion around the world, and even the IPCC has also come up with a special report on the climate change in cities. It will come around in 2028 and 29, but process has already started up. So these are all we have discussed. Just to give that idea, the number of cities are around the world is more, and we have already understood that each city has a different definition for the urban population. So now coming to these are some of the issues are there. I just wanted to let you know that if we take the example of the United States, the one city GDP is equivalent to the another countries of the world. That country is also developed country. Like suppose if you take the example of the Chicago GDP is equivalent to the Switzerland. So you can just to have sense that the city is so powerful, it has the GDP equivalent to the one developed country in the Europe. So city is, that's why people are attracted towards the city, because you have lot of opportunity to do that. And similarly, that the Dallas is having the GDP of the Argentina. Argentina itself is a very big country in Latin America, and their GDP is equivalent to the one city in the US. So just to try to understand that cities has the more economic power, and we were discussing also along with Professor Jerry and all, if city is able to generate the economy, the city will be able to take care of everything. Is the economy of scale that plays a very important role in any city. So big cities are more productive. We don't think that the big cities are any good innovation. If you see that the big cities have the ecosystem which give you the environment to go for the some innovation. So what are the discipline to deal with the cities? Only urban planner, या city planner, या architect only is not going to deal with the cities. City needs to have the different stakeholders. And if city planner don't understand what other people are thinking, that the exercise we did in the morning, that we need to understand what are the constraints in the politics and what are the constraints in the society as well. The one good example here, I would like to say that what do you say, the MATLAB, that the high-speed train that goes on the magnetic MATLAB is there. So Switzerland wanted to have the system in the country because it's a beautiful country and people go for the tourism, and tourism is one of the income for the Switzerland also. The residents were not allowing them to have it because knowing that there is an environmental concern, there will be the other concern, and they did not allow, even though World Bank expert and then the other countries, Italy, Austria, the other countries were able to give the support because that country were benefited. But the Switzerland residents said, no, we don't want the maglev system to come into that system. We are okay, whatever the system we are is there. So citizen role is very important. If citizen plays a very vital role, then everybody has to turn around to take a decision in favor of the city. And we have already seen in the morning, citizens were not there, then we were very much worried. Not because that what will happen. We were worried because decision will not be very holistic in nature. So we need to understand each of the expert what they think, how it will work and how it is going to work. If we understand better, then any city around the world can be managed very well. So look, these are the countries which is having the high GDP, and then top 15 you can see that Tokyo and New York is having more GDP than the Kuwait, New Zealand, Ukraine, Qatar and Peru and any countries in the right side. Just to give you that ideas, the cities are very important. The Tokyo is Tokyo all because Tokyo has that much of population and that much of workforce, that much of innovation is being carried out, that much of ecosystem is there to people has opportunity to try the new things into the new city. We may not be able to try Silicon Valley all because of the ecosystem they have. Anybody can go and they can get the help and they can develop the things they want to develop. Okay? So I will just end up the cities part. The cities and climate change agenda, I told you that is being captured in United Nations. IPCC has already been captured recently. The ADB, UNFCCC, urban agenda. So anywhere around the world, anybody is trying to address the issues of the climate change. Let me tell you, cities are the central point now. Earlier it was not. Even the IPCC was coming out. After the 6th assessment report, the city became the part of the IPCC. Before that, city was not the part of any assessment report of the IPCC. Only after the 6th assessment report that the cities became the part, because they understood that if we are not going to address the issues of the cities, we are not going to address the issues of the climate change. So we need to remember that this is not the discipline of theory, it's the discipline of practice. There may be a lot of theories, but it is not going to work in the cities. If we have the theory of practice, that works very well in the case of the cities. So we need to remember this, the practice that is going to play an important role. Now coming to the climate change, I will not go into more detail. The climate change is simply that the long-term increase in the average temperature, or at a certain, taking the initial point, generally now when people take when the industrial revolution started, before that, and that's the reference point, and then how the average temperature has changed. So, yeah, what is the anomaly, how much it has changed, then people say is that climate. So this is the important planetary boundary in order to understand what the climate change is. So that planet boundaries has been studied in 2009, 15 and 2023 that by the Stockholm Resilience Center. This is the one of the again resilience center which works on the climate change, how resilient the planet is there, what are the intervention is required. So you can see that in 2009 the three boundaries we crossed the three boundaries, and then also the climate change was there. In 2009 the here boundary means if we cross the boundaries, that means that boundary is going to affect the another boundaries as well. And if that boundary is within the circle of the green one, that means we can manage it very well. We need not have to worry. If climate change would be within the circle of the green one, then we did not have to discuss a climate change, because that can be manageable very easy. But if it is going beyond that, that means we need to do something on urgent basis today, then only tomorrow we will be able to take care of that. And if it crosses the boundaries beyond that, that's another circle, then even though we will do many things, we will not be able to take care of them. That should keep in your mind. That in 2015 we have crossed the 4. 2009, no Paris agenda was there, no Paris agreement. 2015 the Paris agreement came, we crossed the 4 boundaries of the planet boundary. And 2023 Paris agreement, UNFC3, urban agenda, all were in place. But still we have crossed the 6 boundaries. That means we are going to cross each boundaries very fast, and we need to take care of the climate, planet very carefully, otherwise the other system will be also disturbed. Not be able to do that. Probably the next generation will be able to do something where we will be benefited from that. So the climate, and in 2023 CO2 and then the global warming, that also came into picture. So that means the climate change is affecting us more. We were not able to take care of that change. Okay, so again these are the data. I will not go into more detail. So what you try to understand that the one side, the more population, more production, more productivity, the cities are giving a lot of opportunity, and everybody is trying to migrate to that cities. The cities is having high population, cities are also producing more greenhouse gases. That we have already seen that. That means the cities are also responsible to our climate change. Because number of vehicle ownership, number of the industries that the cities are having, that means cities are also more responsible for the climate change. So we need to take care of the cities in order to take care of the climate change. And there are studies how cities is affecting the climate. We will talk about this one. Then nowadays the extreme weather events is also coming out. What is the extreme weather? The earlier it was the 100 years period when the extreme climate event used to come, 100, 90, 80 years. Nowadays that frequency has also reduced to the 10 years, 5 years. That is really abnormal. We were not expecting that so drastically that the extreme events frequency will come up. That we were not aware, but that has also come up, and we always see in the newspaper up within the 6th. We have experienced the temperature, the last maximum temperature in last 50 years, last 60 years, last 80 years. And you might be aware of also that's the 1.5 degree centigrade that we were expecting we will not cross 1.5 degree centigrade, and the many scientists, even the IPCC also said, if we don't intervene now, within a very short span of time, we'll cross the 1.5. And some studies say we have already overshoot. That 1.5 degree has already been achieved. We will not be able to take care of that 1.5 degree. We should be taking care of the 2 and 2.5 degrees. So you can see that we try to take care of the environment, but environment is going into some different direction. So the measure which we are trying to take, that is not going to take care of that. And the first one is built environment, transportation, energy consumption, and water management. You said that the Professor Jerry has said 24/7 water is available in the developed country. It uses a lot of energy. Let me tell you, there is a very strong relationship between water and energy. There is a very strong relation. In developing countries, it's more also, because we don't have resources and we are using more energy to pump the water. And we are storing it again, we need the energy to again store it. So there is a strong nexus, and that is also leading to the water scarcity. Because very easily you can withdraw the water. In the case of our city of Patna, we can take the groundwater whenever I want. If I want now, I will switch on the motor and then the water will come up. So there is a very strong relation. The energy consumption, the more temperature goes up, the more the energy consumption will increase. The more person will use, the more air conditioning and other system. And that percentage is also going on. Energy consumption in the building sector is around 23% in India. In globe, it's more than 30%. And built environment, that the kind of the energy that consumed, that is also is very high. So that's the intense heat wave. Again, if temperature goes more than 35 degree, then more than the person in India, more than in Europe, person will die. And that was the news 2-3 years before, 1 year before only. Because they were not expecting that the temperature will go up to that high. So the temperature is going high, and then because of the built up, that the lower temperature is also going up. And entire India is again trying to address the issues of the how heat resiliency plan is going to work, because only heat resiliency plan is targeting the state, not targeting the city specific. So that also needs to take care of that, how city specific the city plan is there. There are Ahmedabad, Surat, they have gone into that detail. So we can see that the urban flooding, that the high temperature, these are the causes of the climate. These are the things which the Patna is also experiencing the extreme event in terms of the high precipitation. And when high precipitation comes, that most of the area, the low-lying area, because Patna is having the social say, the low-lying area, it gets flooded, and then again we need energy. We need to use the energy to pump the water from that area to another area. So can we plan in such a way that the water can be taken out from that area to another area? We are sure that we are not like Tokyo. We can build the big tunnel inside our city, because that needs a lot of money in order to build that. We are not like the Tokyo Mumbai or some other cities, but we need to look into that. What solution could be? What could be the one of the solutions? These are some of the examples that he has made it, like the Copenhagen. I told you, Copenhagen had experienced first the extreme event in the cloudburst. First extreme event, the city experienced the extreme event. After that, immediately the city involved all the stakeholders, and they have the cloudburst management system. Only once that city experienced the extreme event, they are planning in a place to take care of that extreme event. Just I'm letting you know, but some of the cities is experiencing very frequently the extreme event, but not able to take care of that. That city, only one cloudburst cloudburst was there in only one in that after I think 86 years, if I'm wrong, yeah right, I don't know, around 80 years, they were able to manage this. Lot of money was going into the different policies was diverted to take care of this one. All agreed. The Singapore, that it's one of the good example for the TOD, transport oriented development, because they have taken very well how the public transport system should well, and then the Hong Kong and I would say some of the Chinese cities also they have done very well. Shanghai, Beijing, they are also very good in order to take care of the Barcelona is also one of the good examples. Spain were able to take care of each other cities. The Barcelona, Madrid, there are other cities. They were also taken care very well. Spain were the countries that were trying not to double the city's population within the 14 years. They had the metropolitan planning system, which does not allow to any city to have the population 5%. They will try to divert the attention to other cities. They try to build the ecosystem in other cities so that people can go into that system. So, like the green portal, that's the space in the. I was talking about the Ahmedabad heat action plan. That action plan has taken a lot of international attention. Why? Because we were able to provide the early warning system to the especially vulnerable population, the elderly, women and child. How to, when the population will be very high, you should not go out from this area, you should remain here. And we also need the cool place when the heat is very high. You need to have some cool, the community place where the people can come and sit there. And that provision needs to be taken care from that one. Ahmedabad has gone for that. We will have the cool place, so we can take care of that. That's why this plan has given India's national plan to think about at the city level, not the state level. We do have the state level action plan in Bihar also, but we don't have the city level action plan in India. That is the things. 2-3 discussions were held, but that was also not very concrete. The reason behind, again I told you, when we talk about the cities and climate change, only 2 things you will have to remember: the political will and the administrative esprit. If these 2 are lacking, even though we are well-informed citizens, we will not be able to influence the policies. If these 2 are lacking, these 2 are very essential for any policies to have the climate change mitigation and adaptation strategies captured into the policies when these 2 are there, the political will and administrative esprit. Similarly, Nagpur local climate zone study they have made into this. No? So, climate change is a very big and there's a very good title, so I thought let me give this one. Our response is very little here. Means what this cartoon is trying to tell is that we are not doing our things in order to take care of that. And let me tell you also, the many developed countries is not able to address the issues well. India is not signatory to be a part of the carbon neutral because we are saying we are not still developed. China also says we also need to produce as much as carbon because we need to have the social equity and economic equity. The developed country has not taken the onus to transfer the technology so that we can have the development with equity, but we can reduce the carbon print less. So now the global climate fund has come up with the policies that they will finance the city country to have the adaptation fund, and most of the developing countries is not able to tap the climate adaptation fund because their checklist is very stringent. They are asking your city should not have the inequality system in them. All global south cities is having the inequality, and the other is that the crime rate against women should be very less. That is also lacking in the global south. So there are very stringent parameters. Because of that, the global south cities is not able to tap the fund which is readily available. But nowadays there are a lot of discussion goes around the bone, the UNFC3, that how this fund can be channelized to the developing nation. That the Africa is also a good example. Africa is far behind than the continent on this planet. I would say they are still living 40 years, 50 years back. They don't have access to the electricity. Many of the countries only 3 hours and 4 hours electricity are there. I've seen that the Professor Jerry was saying. They don't have access to the water. They don't have access to the sewage system and all. They live in a very filthy condition. And the Kotituba, what is the Kotituba? There is one country. There's two names, Kotituba. There's something in there that produces lot of that cocoa.
Yeah.
So this is the country which produces the very good the cocoa in the world. That same cocoa has been purchased in Switzerland. They process it and sell it at a very high price. The chocolate. We know that the Swiss chocolate is very good, but where it is produced, they are still poor. I have friends in Cote d'Ivoire. They are very poor. They say we do a lot of hard work in order to grow that cocoa, but we don't get that prices in it. So things here is that we have the technology, we know everything, but somewhere around the world is taking advantage of our vulnerability, and they are not getting benefited from that. It's a political consensus. We need to think of that. The Africa is, because the world is developing, anybody, anywhere, anybody can go there. But still, some of the countries is struggling hard, and their product is very good. We say that Manoj and Mohan story, we have seen that any city can become a good city, viable city if they have the resources. And who is the human capital? Social capital is the resources. That's the best resources any city has. So that resources should be directed towards the address the issues of this one. So this is the last slide. What it trying to do that the nature-based solution, advanced modeling technique, policy alignment and urban planning plays a very critical role in order to take care of the climate change. Like advanced modeling technique, again I would say little bit about this, that we have the model which can capture very well what will be the future scenario. Okay, so developing countries is not able to run the model. Some of the model is highly controlled. So we don't know what will be the future scenario. Let me tell you the one good example is the Kerala flood. It happened in 2017, I think. That high flood was there in Kerala, and our model were not able to model that urban flood in Kerala. That the model which performed very well is UK Met Office. UK Met Office, they have the very strong model to give you the projection. What will be the likely scenario in near future? That was the only model which projected very well if there will be flooding in Kerala, and then the flooding came. But the Kerala state were not able to access the model. So even the model were there, that the city which was affected by the future projection was not able to access it. So that means that the advanced modeling technique is not going to help the city if that city does not have access to that model. If that city is able to access that model, then we will be able to well prepared what will happen tomorrow and what will happen day after tomorrow. So that also is major concern. I saw that, so I thought let me tell you this one. Lot of things goes around the nature-based solution. All around there is in IPCC also people talk about this, the green and blue in mixed infrastructure, this one, and then the urban planning also plays a very important role. I assume that when the IPCC special report on climate change in cities will come, then I am assuring you the city planner will have a very strong role to play. There was incident, I think in 2007, not 2007, yeah, 2007 there was a conference in the World Bank. The conference was on climate change in cities. The more than 500 participants were there in Marseille, France. Not a single architect and planner were there. I'm just telling you the truth. You should know. The people who talk about the climate change is not planner is not there. If planner is not there, how our city will be prepared? That all climate scientists, metro scientists, the policy maker, they are there, but planner is not there. The planner, if planner is not there, the urban planning documents is not going to capture that things. Even our city development plan, if you look into the Patna master plan, there is no word climate change mentioned. AMO 273, that's the document which we have. Kahin nahi hai climate change. So if the urban planner is not going to understand the climate change is happening, our city will not be able to counter that the effect of that. So it's very necessary to have this one, and now it is getting attention, lot of attention. Now you see a lot of the conferences and all this there, they try to focus on the planners should come and speak because cities are very crucial to play a very important role. And that's the way I go there. Because if I get an opportunity, all because of the urban planning and all, because they want to listen to what is the architects and urban planners see this problem. Because the land atmosphere interaction is there, but what is the impact of that? If something happening in atmosphere, ultimately the city, people is going to be affected by that. So there is a big chance that the urban planning, this one there, and I think Supriya and I was there, the Singapore management guy, the IPCC was heading this one, the urban planning this one. Then I asked that question, how we were managing this one. Then he said, I am a manager. I can manage it, only you can manage the finance well, you the urban well. Manage the urban, you are manage the finance, you are not trained to manage the. So their training is, that was a big debate. It goes around, and I was of his point, and he was that the people ask for the guy to take care of the cities. So that management guy should have the planning. It's not the output should be economic term, it's the social economy should be there. So taken care, and I don't know, we should always, if we can manage how much percentage of the sustainable development goal will be managed. You write it down, you try to do that. I said 70%, that around 50%. If manage cities well, how much percentage manage? This gives the one of the stakeholder that where to focus on. Government is focusing on the water because 70% sustainable development goal. The transportation thinks 50% of the sustainable will be achieved. So likewise, cities, I don't know if you how much percentage you take care of that. So we keep this thing here. Another lecture, I think, cities, water and all, you are going to
continuing what was
water. So we'll have the water, and I will narrow down to the Patna and all. Just if this, I wanted to let you know that the cities has a different scale and the climate change and a lot of things is happening all around the world. Lot of things happening where the urban planning plays a very important role. Okay, so we'll have that. Chalo, thank you. Do we have anything to discuss? We can discuss a little bit. If anything you would like to throw. Since morning they are just trying to manage it. And managing city is not easy.
Yeah. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow, okay?
Many of the mayor has been changed in order to manage the city.
Exactly.